Oh look, fig. Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. Nice figs actually. These two, they're ripe, but they're just slightly underripe how I like them. So we'll be giving them to our daughter's parrot. Yeah, parrots love fruit, carrots, cabbage, apples, all sorts of stuff. Really good. But it is getting to the end of summer. Nights are getting cooler, aren't they? You're not pointing at the parrots.
What parrots?
Yeah, a whole heap of pink and greys over there just flew by. Oh, there's that back again. Might be able to see them shortly. Beautiful night though, isn't it?
Yep.
Not cold, not hot, this time of the year. End of February, early March, night times are really good. Like May, June, they're pretty good months too. And it starts getting cold. Well, cold for us. Put that fig back there. That'll confuse people. What the hell's that? Hello, I'm your friend. I'm Fig 2.
There are boobs.
Yeah, could be. Could be a set of boobies. I don't think anyone's there, but that's okay. You can watch it later. Pink and grey galahs coming by. I should do hangouts in the morning when the kookaburras are here. I'll take one fig away just to confuse people. Morning, whoever's there. Have I got the chat on? That's probably another thing I don't. I always bugger up with this and have a look. Okay, I think I got it on. It's a nice night tonight. What's the temperature? About 30 still? 27. It's cooling down. But I can feel in the sky. I mean, I'm old. I look at the sky in the morning, at night. It tells me the season's changing. It's been a hot year, been a hot summer, but the nights are cooler, which is good. And the days aren't as hot. We've probably got a few more days of 100 coming, but not many. What's been happening in everyone else's world? I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube like some people. They live in there.
Not right now, they're not.
No. Most of them will be asleep, which is a good thing. Caught a little bit of Tucker's chat today. Raised $400 or more. Thought that was good. I caught a little bit of the boy in the van. He did a weigh-in. He's 273 or 275 pounds at 5'7". In this country, it's called stage 3 morbid obesity. He needs to lose about half his body weight, which is incredible.
So seeing everyone's doing what they want on these hangouts and, you know, chuck it out there and have a go at everyone, what are you going to talk about?
A holiday coming up, maybe? Yeah.
You do what you want.
Oh, I see. All right.
You get it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get another beer. Oh, shit. I've knocked the stack of empty cans over. It's all right. I've got another one here. First beer of the week, actually. 2 years old. That is a good beer. That you would enjoy. It's cold. It's a dark beer. I like dark beers. I like Guinness as well. But we drink this one. I think we bought a carton about 2 months ago. What's left of that one? Half a carton still? More?
More.
Yeah. We don't drink a lot. Do enjoy a quiet drink on a nice night, or with a good meal. Morning, Shauna. All the parrots are starting to fly by, as you can probably hear. This time of night they go for a bit of a wander down to the river and back. We get all different sort of birds at different times of the day. I will do a hangout in the morning because we get kookaburras and they're beautiful. And big black cockies. These ones are so big they tear down branches, the buggers. And they're noisy. But birds are good. But we are actually going on a holiday shortly. What you're looking at now is the extension to our house that we haven't built yet. You in there?
Yeah, say hello to Shauna.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's where our extension of the house will go down to. About where, if you look at the, trying to use my old finger, if you look at about where that post is, which is at the end of the shed, a bit further, the extension will go all the way across to here, and it'll end up being a 5-bedroom home.
30-second delay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh well, 30-second delay it is. But we're going to go on holiday prior to commencing that because there's all bits and pieces we need to do. You're Mrs. Seeds. I've only heard it. You've never seen. Oh no, you've been on video, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been on video.
Yes, we're going to fly out in April to the UK. We're going to parts that I've known, and we're going to Ireland and Scotland, Wales, and down to Germany for a few weeks.
Yes, change your plans. We were going to go to the US, but that'll be the end of the year.
Yeah, we didn't want to rush it. We were going to combine going
US
to the UK and all that, and going
too
to
much.
the US, but the house is going to be under construction. And we don't really want to miss that, so we'll probably go October or something to the US, spend, instead of a few weeks there, we'll spend maybe a month and a bit. But looking forward to it. I actually left the UK 50 years ago this month. So we're going in April, so I will be back where I left over 50 years ago. So yeah, some sort of emotions are going to be in there for sure. But I was only a young boy, well, a boy when I left there. Yeah, hope to catch up with you, Shauna. What we'll do, Massachusetts. Oh no, we'll definitely meet you. I'm going to tell you,
Yeah,
we will
that's
definitely meet you.
At the end of the year.
Because, Shauna, my wife lights, 1650, the witches, yeah? You know what I'm talking about. She loves that sort of stuff, ghosts and witches and all that. So we'll definitely, Massachusetts, we'll definitely be going through there, so we'll catch up with you for sure. That's it, Salem.
Yeah.
I like a bit of Salem and cheese on my roll, actually.
Ha ha ha.
I don't fear the dead. Never have. Seen some strange things in my life, but I've never heard of people, in the newspaper the next morning, 3 people found dead, killed by ghost. Doesn't happen. I do love history though. I'm a bit of a history buff, so we'll be hitting some museums, and I know there's plenty there where you are. I remember going. You have some vague memories as a child. I remember going to the British Museum when I was just a kid, and there's a painter called Constable, just landscapes and whatever. And there was another painter, I can't remember his name. He did animals and all that, and I could see every piece of hair, if you like, on the sheep. This painting would have been 12 feet by 12 feet. And as a boy, I think I stood and looked at it for about half an hour thinking these damn sheep were going to jump out. They looked so real. People don't get an opportunity to go and look at things like that anymore because they're too busy stuck on a computer. But we'll be going to, what's that beautiful little village in Germany? It's in Rottenburg?
Yeah.
Rottenburg. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, Shauna. Rottenburg's in Germany. Beautiful little old town, kept to what it was, you know, a couple hundred years ago. Didn't get destroyed in the war. But both of us have got relatives in the UK. I have, in particular, and my wife has got relatives in Germany. So it depends how much time you go stay with them. Rottenburg, it's spelt R-O-T-T-E-N-B-U-R-G.
Yep. Rottenburg. You're actually
They say Rottenburg, but
Yeah.
it's R-O-T-T-E-N-B-U-R-G. Looking forward to going there. Like I say, I do love history. Like I said earlier, I caught a bit of Elvis Babbles weigh in, like he was going to be in a boxing fight or something. Came in at 273 pound, and at 5'7". We have a different scale in Australia. We have obese, and then we have levels. And what he told in that video, he's at stage 3 morbid obesity. That's not good for anyone. He basically needs to lose half his body weight. He should be between 140 and 155 pound. And he's well over the mark there. And look, I mean, there's also what they call a BMI age index. In other words, what your obesity does to your body is make you look a lot older and structurally destroy organs. So you may be 35, 36, but you may look 55 because it just, I mean, visceral fat in particular on your liver, kidneys, all through your organs. That's very hard to get rid of. You've got body fat, you know, the chubby fat, but you've got visceral fat, which is extremely dangerous. I don't know whether he's ever been to a doctor to say, do you think I'm a little bit over? Sad really, because you know, you could wake up one morning and he'd be in some morgue somewhere because he's just eaten himself to death.
What's that song, Massachusetts? Trying to think of that song now.
Yeah, it's in my head too. Shauna, what's that Massachusetts song? What is it? It's playing on my wife's mind. Going to Massachusetts, something like that, I'm not sure. Sure, I don't know. She's an expert in that field. But it is a beautiful night. Would you like a little sip of the beer? It's a beauty. Oh, look at that. Tooheys Old Dark Ale. Just have a little sip. There you go, no more. Shawnee says, I've no clue.
Oh, I'll have to look it up. It's like, I know there's a song about Massachusetts.
I think it's a John Denver song, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's a Bee Gees song.
Bee Gees.
Starting to come back. Yeah, it's a Bee Gees song.
Hello, we've got memory and flux kicking in. She's just found some old data in the brain.
Yep, Bee Gees song.
There you go, Bee Gees song called Massachusetts.
Yes. Yeah.
Could be a Bee Gees song for Elvis Babbles. You know, you could say, staying alive, ooh, 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 staying alive. If I sing any higher, something's going to split.
I'll have to Google it later and listen to it now.
Yeah, Shauna said it was a song by
Yeah, I knew that.
Bee Gees. They were pretty popular in Australia for one main reason. They're Australian.
I like the Bee Gees. There's only one brother alive, isn't there? The others have died.
Yeah, there's only the one left now. You know, you're getting old when a lot of the people you admired as entertainers, actors and performers are dead. I was a big fan of Robin Williams. Still am, but he's no longer around. Of course, one of my favourite chefs, unfortunately, took his life recently, which is terrible.
Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what we find is that we do look at it as a battle to maintain a healthy weight. But there's two aspects to it. It's what you feel about yourself, which is the most important. And then there's that vanity side of us that says, what do other people look at
And I've seen,
as you know? And I'll be honest, I don't really care what other people look at me at, but people do. But I think more importantly, if you're happy with yourself, you're on a winner. You know, I've had friends that have been overweight for years and years and years and years, and they're happy.
Shauna's not obese.
No, she says she's been battling her
But
weight.
I've seen her on video, on her videos. I go watch her channel.
But I mean, it's your
Yeah,
perception
it's
of
your
yourself,
perception,
isn't it?
Shauna, you're not obese.
A lot of people. I mean, there's. I'm never going to be politically correct. If someone says, "Do you think I'm a little bit overweight?" I'd say, "Yeah, you're a bit fat." I'm old school. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying you're a bit fat. You've asked me. I'm telling you. But if they're happy with what they are in themselves, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's like there's always this undertone on YouTube about transgender or cross-dressers or lesbians or gay. I don't give a damn. I couldn't care less. It's the person I'm interested in, not their colour of their skin, their height,
Yeah, that's
their beauty.
yeah, that's right, Shauna.
Oh, I missed something, did I? What did Shauna say?
She said it's hard. The change was doing it to get healthier instead of vanity.
Yeah, as I said, there's that two-way battle, isn't there? That two-way sword where if you're happy with yourself, but you look in the mirror and think, oh, I wonder if other people think that they're going to be happy with me. My answer would be, fuck all of them. You know, look after your own happiness. If you're comfortable, the clothes you wear feel good, you swish your tail when you go out and you have a good time, the rest of it is unimportant. Because if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
I knew you were going to say that. That's a song.
No, I'm just saying it's like sometimes we punish it. We can be our own worst enemy, is what I'm saying. And sometimes in life you go through worrying about the smallest of things, making them mountains. You know, it's bothering you. This one thing's bothering you. 10 years pass and you're still bothered. And then eventually you wake up and think, what am I worried about? You know, like when you're younger and you've got children and you're struggling and you're just making ends meet, and then as a young man I'd be working 2 jobs thinking, oh, are we gonna be okay? And in the end I'm thinking, I could have still done the 2 jobs, but I could have done with a less of the doubt that was in my mind. But I think it's hard to overcome that, like you said about the two-sided sword about weight. You can be happy with yourself, but are you going to shape your body to suit and make other people happy? I would answer now, no, never. It's not important. I mean, the one thing that we probably value more than anything else is time and what you do with it. And I did have a friend on here tell me, and he said he didn't spend a lot of time on YouTube, but he said there's a button you can go and check. And he says it tells you how long you've been on YouTube for the day, for the week, I think even month, I don't know. But he said, I am on over 80 hours a week, and I didn't think I was on that much. And I'm thinking, that is an incredible amount of time. You know, if you only paid, say, $10 an hour, you'd be getting $800 a week. I wonder if there's a job on YouTube for people that spend 80 hours and they get paid to do it. That'd be interesting. There's some people that are on YouTube all the time, of course. Morning, noon and night. Yeah, but if anyone said to me, like the daughters say it every now and then, oh, I'm a little bit chunky or something. But weight fluctuates, particularly in women, for different reasons over time. But I think if you can just find a nice happy medium where if you can let go of what other people think about you and just make yourself happy, well, you're there. If on a scale it says you should really be 20 pound lighter, but your life's great, why worry? And I'm 220 pound and I am 6'5" and I am normal weight apparently. But I still think I could shake a little bit of the old belly that's just hanging around, you know what I mean? But does it make me conscious when I go out? No. Couldn't be bothered. But it is a beautiful night. It is 25 degrees, which in Fahrenheit is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Do you know what we do with chocolate?
We eat it.
Well, what we do, we don't eat it all the time, but when we
No.
buy a bar of chocolate, my wife breaks it into small squares and we eat it within about 20 minutes thinking, it's only a little bit, it's only a tiny square. And then we eat the whole thing. And then we get guilty and we don't buy one for another month. You have binges on chocolate, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yep.
But I think some of the things that I've tried to cut down over the last, well, you're the same, aren't you, with sugar, probably the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, potato chips, yeah, they're hard to turn away sometimes. I like pork crackle myself. But I find what we do when we make a cup of coffee, imagine just having your forefinger and thumb and just getting a small pinch of raw sugar, I mean a small pinch, and put it in your cup. That's what we have in our coffee. And you have no sugar in your tea, do you?
No, I have honey.
Yeah, honey.
I have honey in my tea.
And it's one of those things, I mean, you'll come out sometimes and you think, oh, I forgot to put that pinch of sugar, and I go, oh, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't. Get used to it. And avoiding, there's so much sugar in everything. Like, I used to have a Pepsi franchise many, many years ago in the Midwest of Western Australia, and we used to go to summits and seminars and all that sort of thing as franchisees, and they would tell us that a can of Pepsi has 14 teaspoons of sugar in it. Okay? One can of Pepsi. A can of Fanta from Coca-Cola has 18 teaspoons of sugar in it. That's why, for the last 2 generations, everybody is enormously big, because I'm going to tell you a secret that the marketing companies don't want you to hear. You know, when you see all these products in the shop now, that they have diet written on them, diet yogurt, diet something other, you know, all these diet things. Well, they do take the fat out of it. You know, you see the 99% fat or 97% fat free, whatever they put on it. But you know what they do when they remove the fat? They put sugar in it. That's a dirty secret in the diet food industry. You're not supposed to know that.
Unless you've got a milk problem, but people do it because of whatever reason. They get a high-low milk or whatever you call it,
I can't
low-fat
stand
milk, but then they have a big piece of Black Forest cake.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic. You go downtown, Vorda's got a big office in the city here, and you go down, have a cup of tea with,
I'll have a latte, half skim, half strength, no sugar, and I'll have that double-sized Black Forest cake.
or Diet Coke and, you know, that 9-ounce Bavarian. Thank you. I can have that because I'm having the Diet Coke. You see what I mean? Really? I think we're not special, but we generally only eat when we're hungry. We ate today at, what time did we eat? 4 o'clock? I had pasta with some of my chili beef, which is still delicious. G'day, VMAC.
Hi, VMAC.
And you had just pasta, didn't you? A little bit of olive oil,
Yep.
a bit of herbs. So, but we eat when we're hungry. So that means most mornings I don't have anything.
Oh, VMAC. I can't type.
Yeah, I think it's
damn.
sad, Shauna, because it's like it is absolutely marketing that convinces people that it's okay to get a triple Mac burger with 4 buckets of fries and have a Diet Coke. All they see in front of them is that, well, I'm having a Diet Coke, so I'm being a good boy. Really. It's marketing. Marketing has forced this issue upon us. I'll tell you where the people fire up. In Australia at the moment, basically every second household has solar, and that little patch down here you're looking at will have a lot of solar on its roof when it's finished. But what has happened in this country, we have more solar per capita than anyone. having breakfast.
What are you having for breakfast?
Let me
What's
see.
for
In
breakfast
Canada,
they
she'll
make?
have what's that weird food they have? Where chips
Waffle?
with cheese on it or something.
Waffles?
I forget what it's
Pancakes?
called. Piece of toast. But yeah, food in general. I love food. I love the flavours of food.
Uh,
Baked oatmeal.
baked oatmeal.
Yeah, I put money on that one, Shauna. I'll tell you
Your auto check.
where I believe it goes further than that is that I am 60, and when I was a kid, in the UK in particular, and in Australia, hardly anyone. I couldn't even remember anyone who had allergies. I couldn't anyone who had skin disorders. I didn't know anyone who had asthma. I didn't know anyone who had eye, ear, nose, throat problems, and I certainly didn't know anyone with autism. There'd be the odd sickly child, if you know what I mean, out of say 1,000 people in the town. You get to know everybody in a small town. But today, basically every second child, 50% of the children have an allergy, they have a scale of autism, they have all these diseases that didn't exist when I was a boy. And all the parents keep them inside and clean every surface and, don't let them go and play out in the mud and don't go out there. And when something does go around, everybody gets it. What I'm saying is the immune system's been destroyed by preservatives, additives, hormones. In Australia now, you're basically not allowed to put hormones in meat, but that happened for a long time, unless you went to a... And I think what it does, and I think it's sad to say that it's probably not the generation now, like you're going to call them millenniums, 20 to 30-year-olds, that are going to have the problem. It's that their generation before them started this, they are completely on it. It's their children, I feel, and I believe we're going to have new diseases that are not even named at the moment. And I think there'll be a dermatology disaster in some form or other, because the skin is the largest organ in the body, and that it's showing itself today. The amount of kids that are nut allergies. I would have laughed as a kid if you said to me, you better not eat nuts because they might cause a problem. We'd laugh at you, thinking this person's a nutter. We ate everything. But I worry about the next generation, my grandchildren, if you like, where their world is full of all these fat-free, artificial sweeteners, and the air is polluted. Do you know what I mean? Well, where I'm going with this is that we are what we eat. No doubt about that at all. We are definitely what we eat. And it means that if it's normal for some 20-year-old kid to go into McDonald's now, get 2 burgers, 2 fries, and a Diet Coke, thinking, well, I'm having the Diet Coke, that's good. What the hell's in the food? I'll be honest with you, we have it every now and then, and every time I have a burger from a fast food place, I think I've got a brick in my stomach. It's like I regret doing it. But I think, like I say, we're entering a time on this planet where the foods that we've been eating for the last 40 years, the new generation that comes along, genetically we're passing on all that crap is what I'm saying. First of all, they haven't got a hope in hell because of all the crap their parents and grandparents have been eating for 40 years. And they come into this world behind the 8 ball already, a poor immune system, all the chemicals that pass down. When you were talking before, Sean, about hormones in foods, well, they're passed on. Genetically, if there's a hormone deficiency or overabundance of hormones or minerals, your genetics pass them on. So we're ending up with a weaker species. We no longer have, survival of the fittest, because I'm not sure how many people on board would survive, to be honest with you. But we don't have that. There's no analogy about, well, you've got to be big, strong, tall, fast. That's how our species evolved to circumstances, environmental issues faced. You'd either have darker skin, or you'd be shorter, or you'd be stronger due to the environment. But we're going to end up with a species that is genetically poor structure. Shauna says, causing folks to think they are trans too. I'll give you my thoughts on that, Shauna, and I'm sure you won't get upset with it, but it's my thoughts. In 20 years' time, you won't be able to tell the difference between men and women. It's not the metrosexual type thing I'm saying. I'm saying everything's going down to the path that'll be androgyny. It'll be like there'll be a clothing section in the store you see today as female and male. That's going to disappear. Mark my words. That sort of thing will disappear. There won't be a ladies' shoe shop. There'll be a shop that sells shoes for everybody. And why do I know that's going to be the case? Because words are being thrown out of our dictionary. Things like Mr. and Mrs. are not going to be in the future. You see where I'm going with that? It's like the world will just become androgenized. It will just be a species. And sadly, like I said prior to this, I believe it'll be a weak species, genetically not as strong as it used to be, and susceptible to these new diseases that we haven't seen yet. Yeah, I mean, but my philosophy has been, ever since I've been a boy, is that I don't treat people on their sexuality, their skin colour. I don't see gender, is what I'm saying. We hope to catch up with a few people when we're on this trip, and some are transgender, but I don't, that's their terminology, do you know what I mean? They're just people to me. And I think when you get people that say, but I'm categorised as this, and I'm categorised as that, and I'm saying, well, you've done the category selection. I haven't. Hello, my name's Mick Dundee from Australia. How you going? What I'm saying is, for me, it's irrelevant. It's the person that I would be going to see. Not that they wear a dress and they're not a true female. I don't care. Yeah, she's cute. But some people make it a platform. You know, if you've ever been to the UK, and I remember as a boy watching Speaker's Corner, where people are literally allowed to take a soapbox, stand on it and talk about political rants or social injustice. And you might have some of them in the US, I don't know, but they were common in Australia as a boy, and I certainly remember them as a kid. Speaker's Corner, usually in the town square of a town, you were allowed to do it on a particular Sunday of a month. But it's going, what we call identity, and some people having identity crisis, won't exist in the future. We won't be saying Mr. or Mrs. It'll be just plain John or Amanda or Greg or Sally. There won't be shops for men and women clothing. There'll be just shops that sell clothes. Seriously, that's where it will be going, because it's already begun. The words are being removed. There's something at schools that they were doing, they were changing recently. I forget what it was, but it was along that sort of androgyny line where there's no distinction between boys and girls. And in one way, it's good, because there is no difference between male or female. Each has the ability to do things, some better at other things, but still have abilities. So breaking that barrier is probably a much bigger barrier to break than worrying about being a lesbian, gay, or transgender. It's the barrier of equality, which is the biggest barrier. And that will be broken as well. Like I say, when the world turns androgynous within 30 or 40 years, I'll be gone, but it will be normal to walk into a shoe shop and you'll have people that you're not sure are male or female, but it doesn't matter. You would have been part of the process of not really caring about that by then. And I don't care about that now. But there won't be individual handbag shops for women, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the future. You're going to get quite jealous. Some men are going to walk around with handbags better than you.
They already do.
Gucci.
They already
What's
do.
the other one? What's the daughter got?
Guess.
What's she got?
Guess.
No, is
Guess.
hers? No,
It's
but she's
Guess.
got a Gucci, isn't she? Or
Yeah, there's Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton, that's what I was thinking. And if all of you walked out into your city or town today and all the men were carrying Louis Vuitton purses and handbags, you'd probably have a bit of a look and go, but you're probably at the stage where you think, no, I don't care. So we're nearly there. We're getting there. Like I say, within my lifetime, it will happen. I carry a little backpack, but it's a little pull string drawer thing, like a miniature version of a sailor's pack. I always carry that around when I go to different countries, you know, just to bung sunglasses in and bits and pieces.
Yeah, I have a handbag, but I have it across my shoulder so my hands are free.
Some of the wives' handbags,
Oh,
you put
shut
on the
up.
bank of a river, you can get 4 people sleeping in them overnight.
Oh, shut up. That's my daughter with big handbags.
But clothing, it's one of the things that I'm seeing now. You look at people walking. Probably one of the places that I see it more than anywhere. When you go out on a big night somewhere like a casino or a fancy restaurant, you sometimes don't know whether a person is male or female. I don't care, again, like I say, but it's like, this is where we're going. And we have to embrace it. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, not fight it. Embrace it.
Hey, Jojo.
Yes, Al Bundy will be just a memory, Jojo. It'll be like, I remember that when I was a kid. Peg would come home. But yeah, you just have to wear it. That's where we're going. And you know, it's not a bad thing, as long as it brings equality. It's nothing to do with the sexes as far as I'm concerned. It's like, I still can't help myself. And I'm sure Jojo would be the same if Jojo and I and our respective lady friends went out for the evening. We would both take turns in pulling a chair out and opening a door. Why? Because that's in our DNA. That's what we would do. In the future, you might be, say, the mother of one of the kids going out for dinner, and they all just pull up their own chair and sit down. You'd be like, is anyone going to pull my chair out? And they'll say that, so 20th century mum, sit down. And that's true. But I still do it. You know, there was an old lady landing on a shopping trolley just a couple of days ago. She looked okay, but I just said, are you all right there, love? Do you need help? She said, no, I'm good. That's ending as well. Not many people do that. Like, are you okay? I just think it's a good thing to do because that's what makes a community. You know, I didn't know this old lady. I'll probably never see her again. But she had like an arthritic brace on her arm, you know, and she was leaning on the trolley. And I'm thinking, she looks a bit dodgy there. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've learnt in my life, more important than sexuality or colour of skin, it's the person. It's what they represent. And you are what you do. In other words, your actions speak far louder than your dress, your hairstyle, your cigar, or your fancy walking stick. None of that impresses me. It's you. It's your personality. It's how you come across. Are you respectful? Are you willing to bend a little bit and say, well, yeah, I don't sort of agree with what all you do says, but I'll disagree and I'll agree to do so. That's the difference. That's how you get on with people. People that you just want to murder online, just give it up, you know, forget about it. Just go down the path of either blocking them or just saying, look, I don't agree with everything you do, but, you know, we'll get on. We'll make it work. But most people here are not willing to do that at all. I have a pet hate. You all know I pet hate. If people have known me long enough, I have a pet hate of people being deceptive and misleading and taking money off people. You can label it e-burger if you like. I don't like it in real life. I don't like it online, and yes, it irks me. And I'll do my little bit along the way to try and stop them. And some people might say that's not morally right. It is, you know. It's morally right to try and stop someone who's innocent and gullible losing money from someone who's deceptive. That's why I do it. That's me. There was a case recently that we both agreed we gave Laura, and I didn't know her email address. So I gave it to Rosie about a month ago or a bit longer ago and said, can you get it to her? Because that Elvis Babbles took her last $40 from a widow, and I was very perturbed by that. So we got the money to her, and I'm not after any gratitude for it. I just think it was the right thing to do, and it was the wrong thing to have happened.
See you, Shauna.
See you, Shauna. Have a good day. See you in Massachusetts. that most people seem to have lost the ability to have fun. VMAC does. She bites people on the bum, but she has fun as well. You can mix it up. You don't have to be biting people on the bum all the time. When it's required, do so. But if you can keep your sense of humour, you know, be yourself. If that's you in real life, be like that online. I know there are some people that play games and say they're something they're not. Like a woman might say, oh, I'm really only 25. Here's a picture of me. There's a picture of her daughter. There's many of that goes on. I don't care if it's harmless, if you know what I mean. If that's been portrayed as an image to make them feel good, that's okay by me. But if it's used to manipulate, then it's not okay by me. I don't know what you people think about that, but as far as I'm concerned, there is a fantasy world that people are well and truly allowed to visit and create a world that they like. Yeah, there is that, VMAC. But there is levels of being a victim. One is trying to get sympathy from people, and I said this the other night in a different hangout. There's a huge warning I would give people. Offer your empathy to people by all means. But as soon as you give them their sympathy, you're opening up your emotional purse, and it basically drains you. Yeah, Jojo, it's called Fighting Shadows. And I always have said, and I believe this with my heart, that we all do things in life that will reward us at some level. In other words, you work hard in a garden, or you help somebody, we build something, and there's a creativity from your efforts. But I see no reward from people tearing each other down on the basis of just that they can. For me, the life of me, what is your reward when you turn your computer off and you've upset 30 people? And what, do you rub your hands together with glee and bounce up and down and go, woohoo? Because there is no reward in doing that. There's a lot more reward in walking up to a total stranger, which my wife does, and some little kid sitting on the side, you obviously know he's destitute, she'll give him $20. Don't know him, we'll never see him again, but he might have a good day. Do you know what I mean? That's a reward. You don't get any piece of paper, you don't get comments on your video for doing that. It's just something that if it is done, I always work on the principle that all these people that do it hard could be me. I could be in their shoes. And when I was younger, I was in their shoes, I can tell you. But I appreciate people who actually just give you time. That is the biggest thing you can ever give anyone, is time. You can give them money, and whether you've earned it or you've won it or you're just generous in giving it, it's not as valuable as time. Yes, yep, I agree, Jojo. It's like even hopping in and helping out a food bank, or even if you just, like we did, what did we do? That lady in Mandurah, she came around and got about $200 or $300 worth of food, didn't she?
Yeah.
We had to go somewhere in a pretty hurry, and we had a heap of food stored and everything, and we found someone that needed it. G'day, JP. 10:36 on the Gold Coast, of course. But yeah, and if you do those things in life, it's not like I say, they're not going to write a letter to you, and they're not going to get to the point where, they're going to write to the newspaper and say, oh, Siege is a good bloke, you gave us a... That's not why you do it. It's the things that people don't say that they've done, generally, that they feel good about. Giving a few bucks to Tucker to piss off Elvis Blabbles is fine. But I'd rather probably go down the street and find someone who needed $10 and put it in their hand to go and get a feed. Is there morning? Yes, because we're in the future, I can confirm you're going to have a morning, because it's night time here now. The world doesn't end when the sun comes up in the northern hemisphere. Mind you, it's gone down on JP and it's just disappearing for me now. Nights are getting a bit quicker, aren't they, JP? It's getting darker quicker. We were just saying at the start of this that the
I can't.
summer's going.
How do you pronounce it's line dash line stroke dash line circle? How do I say hello to them?
To who?
I don't know.
Well, it looks like Japanese, so
Yeah.
you just say Konnichiwa. Yeah, you don't like, you're a sunbird, JP. You know, being a bodybuilder, you need that vitamin D on all those rippling muscles. Or you'll start to pale into insignificance. Unless you go back to Thailand, you pick up a bit more sun. Which we'll probably go next year to Thailand again, you reckon?
Maybe.
Maybe if they come over, we'll go with them. He can push me around in the wheelchair.
You can't use a wheelchair in Thailand.
Of course you can.
No way.
It'll be just like the old days of Siam. I'll just get 4 punkawallahs to carry me. Never been to Thailand, people? Go there. It is beautiful. And if you want to see cross dressers, I have to tell you, and JP will back me up, they're pretty good looking ladies.
The lady boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, tuck, yeah.
They're bloody awful things, those tuk-tuks. Jesus. You wouldn't be able to fit in them properly either, JP, would you? Like one of our little Suzuki Utes we get here. They're awful.
Oh, that's nice, Jojo.
I couldn't catch all of what he said.
He came across a beggar 6 months ago, and he wouldn't take the dollar because somebody else had already given the guy money. He just wanted a joke off Jojo.
Again, what I've just said before, time is the biggest gift.
Come on, JP, lift your game, do your sentences right. Only I'm allowed to have auto check stuff me up.
Apple iPhones are a pain in the ass, aren't they? Yeah, well, I'd back him up, Jojo. Yeah, that's what that is truly your biggest gift. If you know some old lady, or she might be a bit grumpy, whatever, down the road, but maybe you knock on her door one day and just make a cake for her, or maybe a couple of bottles of lemonade. But it's not that hard. It's not being generous, it's just being kind. You have a good one, VMAC. Plough your way through the snow. As you can probably hear, we've got a sporting arena about half a mile away. But it's also good because each year, as we found out with the fireworks for Australia Day, right about here,
Can't see, it's dark.
about there, and looking up to the sky, the fireworks are like in our backyard. It was brilliant. Mind you, one of our granddaughters shit herself. She had to go inside. She was so scared. It was so loud.
Those, you can tell them those lights they can see. It's the lights on the oval.
Yeah, those lights are the oval light.
Well, I'm cute and he's tall.
We're off in your footsteps to the UK in about 6 weeks, something like that. And I've got to go and fix Stonehenge up because JP rang our agent and has said, Boyd, they're pissed off. Apparently Australian UK relationships are at a bit of a tenterhook at the moment. But I'll be going there with a few mates and we'll fix it up. And we'll have it left spelling fuck you. Yep, you have a good one, Jojo. Start your day.
Jojo.
Let the breeze flow through the hair. If you haven't got any hair, just stick something on top like a hat. Yeah, I don't know whether you caught it, JP. About today, 50 years ago, I flew in from the UK as a boy to Australia when we immigrated. And I'm going back 50 years later. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be that emotional, but it's like I'm Australian, you know what I mean? But that's where I came from. That's where my heritage is. That's where I've got literally thousands of relatives. And if I'm really lucky, I'll be able to avoid most of them. It's not being me, but you know, if one of the relatives, particularly in Yorkshire or Manchester, got hold of us, they'd be saying, you'd have to come to our Kath's, you have to come to Uncle John's, you'd have to come over here to Tom's. Before you know it, you spend a month having afternoon tea with 1,000 relatives. So I'm not being mean by avoiding them. But looking forward to it, yeah. Going to spend a fair bit of time in Ireland. Yeah, I've got it down pat, mate. Walk into a bar. They'll say, top of the morning to you. What's your name? And I say, g'day.
Are we going to York?
Mick Dundee from Australia.
We're
We're definitely going to York. That's the centre of my family. I told JP the other day, and it's true, our family is mentioned in the Doomsday Book, which is 1066, which is William the Coward, if you like. You know, the Frenchman that took over the UK for a while. But a lot of the names of my family in the Doomsday Book is because they executed the bastards for fighting the French. But some of us got away because I'm here. And the wife's going to go. Have any of you seen that TV show on Netflix? It's called Outlanders, is it?
Yeah.
Outlanders. You know, the time travel thing? Well, the wife's going to go and try and find that stone.
Yep.
And then she's going to go back to the 16th century.
Yep. I'll be a peasant.
What, not going to be a queen or
No.
anything like that? Oh,
No, they
right.
got their heads cut off.
Right, that's true. That is true. You just want to be maybe a high official in a town somewhere. Ah, McFlapper. He's part of the McFlapper family. Was it McFlappers? Mr. and Mrs.
Hey,
Seeds.
Nicole.
Hello to you. Yes, I'll be giving you a message in a couple of weeks, Nicole, to give you a date that we will be staying overnight in Manchester. If you want to come and see us, it'd be great to catch up with you. The big McTitties. Now, if you're an American, you'd say McTartars.
Must be real exciting for them to see nothing but darkness.
No, there's a bit of light there. Maybe I'll just wave my hand a bit. Hello. Yeah, so we're away for about a month and a bit, spending a lot of time in Germany as well. Oh, big balls. Yeah, I'm not buying you a steak though, Nicole,
I'll bring you some Vegemite, Nicole.
because I like fish and chips.
Nicole, I'll bring you Vegemite and Tim Tams.
Oh yeah? Mind you have Marmite there, don't you, Nicole?
No, Marmite's crap. Marmite's
Yeah.
nothing like Vegemite.
You know, I didn't have Marmite as a kid. If you're lucky, you have a bit of lard from the leftover roast. You know, lard on toast. True, it's a true story.
Yeah, Marmite's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Aussies have tried Marmite. We've all been tempted to buy a jar and go, what the fuck is that? It's like there's something missing in it.
It's like
JP, that's how I can describe it.
Bonox. You add it in a stew.
Oh, I like Bonox.
Oh, yeah.
I do like a nice cup of Bonox.
Hey, Mel.
G'day, mate. It's funny what each country has as far as food goes, but you knock on any Australian house in the morning and be sure his eggs to be Vegemite on toast. Yeah, that's right, Vegemite's missing from the toast, from the Marmite. It's just, I mean, it's an awful taste for us, I'll be honest with you, the Marmite. I don't think they sell it in most shops now.
You can
But
still...
Vegemite, this is a true story. We went to, where was it, Vietnam. Went to Vietnam, JP, and I thought I'll just take a little tube of Vegemite. And we get to immigration
Yeah, we didn't
with
eat
the
it all.
AK-47 looking at us.
We didn't eat it all coming home.
And they said, that's got to be squeezed out into the bin. I said, it's Vegemite. I said, no, we don't know what it is. I said, it's Vegemite.
No, it was too much. We had...
It was just a little
No,
squeezy.
You're only allowed to take less than 90 grams on hand luggage, and we had 95.
Anyway, I said, taste it. I opened the lid up. She said, no, you've got to squeeze it in. So I just took a big mouthful. I said, see? And I thought I was going to get shot, to be honest. But then she squeezed the rest out, and I'm crying. 2 weeks in Vietnam without Vegemite. You know, this is just as well going to Chogi. Yeah. We love travelling, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, did you? Yeah, no, I didn't take any to Thailand.
No, you lost it coming out of Thailand.
No, it was Vietnam, wasn't it?
No, it was Thailand.
Oh, coming out of Vietnam.
No, coming out of Thailand.
Ah. I lost me bloody, you know, these, what do they call it, battery packs.
Oh, yeah, because that was big.
I flew in
Yeah.
to Thailand, had my battery pack, no
You got
problem.
into
Used it for
Thailand,
the couple of
yeah.
weeks. Come back and they said, no, you can't take that on board. I said, this is the same plane I came here with.
No,
No, you can't have it.
That's true, Nicole. You can take anything into Indonesia, because my sister lives in Indonesia and takes, you wouldn't believe, meat pies, sausage, everything, cheese. But
She takes a bag of food, full-size bag of food.
and takes stuff out of containers and
Yeah.
repacks it, and they don't even check. Like, she repacks sugar. It could be frigging cocaine or anything. But coming in, no.
Yeah, I mean, my state in particular is very tough. The border's incredible. You can't bring anything into WA, literally. This is the biggest one we ever had. We've been across the Nullarbor a few times. We had honey, and it's actually made in Western Australia, okay? That's why we brought it over east, because it was what we used to. And we get to the border, and the guy says, you can't take that in. I said, it's made in Western Australia. Yeah, but you brought it to the borderline. We don't know what's in it. I said, it's sealed. He said, no.
No, you're not allowed to bring any honey. It doesn't matter
Yeah, but
where
it was made in WA.
It doesn't matter where it's from. You're not allowed to bring any honey into WA.
Yeah, it's weird. But the UK, as far as I can figure it out, pretty much all over is pretty similar to Australia.
I don't even think it's 2 packs of cigarettes anymore, Johnny P. I think it's
One.
only 1 pack of 50
One
or
packet,
1 pack
mate.
of 25 now.
Yeah.
It's only 1, JP.
I mean, we buy tobacco, and it's about $80 for 50 grams now. In Bali, it's about $2. Thailand, when you can find it, you can find tobacco in Thailand. It's like $10 for a kilo. I think the UK is about 10 quid a pack. I don't know. Nicole could probably tell us. What's a packet of cigarettes worth over there, Nicole? Very expensive here. It does affect your health in Australia when you smoke, because you can't afford to buy food. Yeah, about 10 quid. I mean, I'm not sure where you are in Manchester, and you don't have to tell me, Nicole, but you know Princess Road in Manchester. Big, long road. Used to be a lot of soccer fields when I was a kid along Princess Road, and two up, two downs, my grandparents owned a house there. What's Princess Road like now? Got to count for these 30-second delays, don't you?
Yes.
I tell you how deep my Mancunian history goes back, and I'll be honest with you, you don't sound very Mancunian to me, Nicole, nor does your mum.
She's just outside of Manchester.
Yeah, it's Princess Road.
Princess Street.
Yeah, but I tell you how deep my roots are in Manchester. My uncle coached Manchester City. And that would mean I can knock on any door in most parts of Manchester and get a free feed. Oh, not far from Manchester. How far are they? Half an hour?
Anyway, we'll work out somewhere, meter.
Oh, I'm not sure the name of the hotel will be in. 10 miles. Yeah, what I'll do is, as we know the date,
We've
I
got
don't
the
know how to...
dates. We've got the dates, but it's just we've got the tour in between.
No, well, we're staying a night in Manchester, so we can spend an
Ah.
evening with Nicole. But what it is, I'll get Mr. Angels,
okay.
my missus, will message you, Nicole, with the place we're staying at and the date, and then choose as you please. We'd love to catch up with you, but if you can't, we'll understand. We're going there anyway.
That'd be okay if I could work out YouTube Messenger. I don't know how, if you want it as a private message, I don't know how to do it.
Well, that's why I said you work it out, because I've got no clue.
Oh, alright, I'll send you an email.
Yeah, no worries. And we're going to be back in London a couple of weeks later, and we will be in London for about 6 days, Nicole. So, I think it's about a 3.5, 4 hour train trip down to London, I'm guessing. Yeah, maybe you can catch up with us down there. We'll hire a little cottage or something.
Oh, we can have a sleepover, Nicole.
We've got a cousin of my wife in Germany who'll drive us around, and we're just going to pay for accommodation and stuff like that. There's places I remember going as a kid in London. I'm definitely going back to the British Museum, which still, because of the national system, is free to get into. But there are a few other sites. You want to do a cruise up the Thames, a bit of the touristy thing without getting heavily involved with it. We want to go and eat out, have some good food, go to the local markets, the ones I'm talking about. There's dozens of markets in London, and just outside London, down the docks and everywhere like that. And, as far as like going on the London Eye, not interested. I mean, seriously, what is it, 30, 40 quid to go around in a circle once? Nah, that buys a good counter meal. Yeah, Kathy, I went there as a boy. I was just stunned. In those days, there was lots of raw exhibits. In other words, they were open, like Egyptian thing. Not now. I imagine they're all in cases.
I think JP rearranged the museum as well. We have to go fix that up.
Oh, that'd be right.
Yeah, didn't you, JP?
Big pie containers everywhere, bottles. Yeah, the Natural History Museum, that would be free too. I remember as a kid we went to all these places, it didn't cost anything to go into. I don't think it would change. And the beauty, as you would have found out, JP, if you break your arm or leg in the UK, we have a reciprocal health system. In other words, if Nicole come to Australia and got badly injured, well, we'd look after her for free. Same in the UK, because we have a lateral agreement. I think Canada's the same. It's only when you get to America, when you get a thorn in your finger, it costs you 10 grand to get it out. We're so used to it, I can walk down and get a major operation.
Hey, JP,
It doesn't cost me anything.
You took travel insurance when you went?
JP's going to look after Nicole. Oh dear. Maybe we won't invite you at the same time, JP, when Nicole flies over after winning lotto. It's not fathomable to us that if Nicole came to Australia and say she did break her arm, God forbid, she'd have nothing to worry about. In fact, it is so reciprocal. If say she was stuck here for 8, 9 weeks, the government would give her the dole as well, just to tide her over until she could fly back. Yeah, so Commonwealth countries have a lot of respect for each other.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, our house and content insuring mob.
APIA.
Oh, actually, we didn't bother going back to them because we originally got a quote to go to America and England and Germany and Paris, but those plans have changed. We're just going to England and Germany this time, and we're going to America end of the year.
She's going to break both legs. She wants 9 months here. Yeah, I mean, like I say, the beauty of the Commonwealth countries, not all of them by the way, but most of them, is that we look after each other. I can live in the UK. I mean, I come from there.
Johnny, stop retracting your comment.
It's probably something obscene. But I can live in the UK.
That's
Anytime I choose to, I can even work in the UK, and Nicole could do the same here. But we get, I mean,
they're playing footy, JP.
he's getting tired listening to them exercise. But being a bodybuilder and at his peak of his fitness, I mean, it shouldn't bother him. I probably, if you ever come to Australia, Nicole, I wouldn't come in summer. It's not going to be good for you. We are used to it. We sit outside when it's 102, 103, have a coffee and sort of say it's a bit warm. Yeah. South Korea. I mean, we've been to so many Asian countries. I bet JP's the same. That, yeah. I mean, like for me to fly to Thailand, it's nearly nothing cost-wise because we're so damn close. JP a little bit more, but our dollar goes an incredible way in Asian countries. It's like if I gave you $20 for the day for food and drink, you wouldn't spend it. We've got a bunch of our kids going over to Bali, which is in our backyard. When are they going? Next week?
No, they're going in April.
Oh, they're going in April. I think accommodation, food works out about $300 a head each for a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is. So Bali's like just north of Australia. But the heat would be terrible on North Americans and people from Europe. And you get them here, they'll come here and they'll go, geez, how do you handle the weather? And you think, it's 28. What are you talking about? It's so hot. I said, it's 28 degrees Celsius. It's not hot. You know, it's like the reverse. I'm used to the cold. I remember the cold as a kid, so I know what I'm in for. In fact, as a boy, I'm sure that Nicole would understand what I'm saying. You put too much clothing on in the snow and you end up sweating. Sort of a balancing act in the snow because it's like you're getting so damn warm. But you won't have that problem here. You won't be getting too cold here. I think, JP, you get the odd morning below zero where you are, but it's a rarity here. Actually, you must have a fair bit of videos up your sleeve from your trip, mate. You should be maybe putting little packages up on your channel. Not for any other reason that I'd be interested. Yeah, I tell you what we don't have in Australia, Nicole, is I don't know anyone who's got a house phone anymore.
Yeah, they stopped delivering those here ages ago.
We don't have house phones.
You go get your own telephone book if you want one from the post office here.
Yeah, that'd be a good one, JP. The ferry.
Oh yeah, castle.
Yeah, we've planned about a dozen castles, to be honest, minimum. There's loads of castles around Wales if you want to, but I mean, ones that are still standing I'm more interested in. Instead of a pile of rubble saying, yeah, that's a castle. I'm saying it's a pile of rubble, mate. No, it's a castle. Fuck off. Can't fool me.
We have local directories for each little suburb. Like each little suburb will bring out a directory of some sort, letting you know what businesses are around and stuff. Like
Only a few have like landlines. Most of them are mobile numbers. I don't think any form I've filled in the last 10 years have I put a house phone down on it. Thornbury Castle.
Oh yeah, I'd love to stay in Norfolk Castle.
Granada, you'll love Granada. It's wine country. You'll have a few to drink.
That's nice, Nicole.
There's all different parts in the UK that are different from each other, but Spain is fundamentally different. You go east, west, north or south in Spain and you're in different countries, literally sometimes. It's like, I mean, I know the answer to this. Most British people will not go on holiday to France. Mind you, very few Frenchmen will go to the UK for a holiday. There's an underlying factor to that. I think it's the 32 wars that we've had. I remember how arrogant the French were when I was younger, trust me.
Well, actually, so do the Germans, JP. My rallies
Yeah,
in
Dutch and
Germany
German.
go to Greece a lot and France. Or actually, they go to France and Spain. Yeah.
I want to do Greece, definitely.
Well, I'm going to Germany, Nicole, because I am German. My family's there.
Well, we're from the same Saxon family, Nicole, believe it or not. In fact, we nearly joined the Germans in war in a secret meeting prior to the war, but that didn't happen.
But the Germans, my God, you think the French are arrogant? So are the Germans, born and bred and live there. I tell you, I went 2-3 years ago to Germany, and I'm German, and I can speak it and understand it, but by Jesus, I told a few off.
Yeah, you walk into a cafe in Germany, they're going to say, "Eine Tasse You'll be like, "Yeah, mate, I'll have a coffee." But it's like they've just attacked you. But they're just asking if you want a coffee. It's what you make of it, isn't it? I think that's the bottom line. You go to a different country, you know, just push back a little bit and soak a bit up. Doesn't take long to learn some of the basic language to get you by.
Yeah, Paris would be good.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's the culture and history that interests me about a country, like going to somewhere like Vietnam and seeing the history from thousands of years ago. Thailand's the same. Just fascinating. Egypt doesn't really excite me.
Maybe 10 years ago. I don't know if I'd
I
really
mean,
go there now.
we live in a state, JP, with 7 deserts. Going to Egypt's probably not my option.
I think I'm with Nicole on that one.
What's that?
She said that you'd be killed in Egypt.
Me?
No, she said anyone going. That's what Nicole said.
There's always conflict around the world. I mean, you've got to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess, these days. But we live in a quite volatile world of intolerances, usually religious-based, let's be honest, in one form or another. But I'll be ending this hangout shortly, mainly because my iPhone 7 just said, "You got a low battery, mate." Yeah, loads of people I've spoken to that have been to see the pyramids go, "Nah, you're all right." You don't see the true picture. Like the guy said, you get to Giza and it's the whole town surrounds them. But the photographs that you see, like of enchanting deserts.
Oh, yeah, that where that Buddha sat for years. Is that the one you mean, Nicole? Well, when you go to Egypt, JP, can you just make a will act to us?
You know, it'll be at the airport and it'll be a goof and start doing this dance from the banana lady saying, "I walk like an Egyptian." They'll throw him in jail. A lot of countries have very strict policies. I mean, if you went to Thailand and you disrespected the royal family, you'd be lucky to get out in 10 years. That's how much that they treasure the royal family. JP knows what I'm talking about. You don't want to be disrespectful when you're in any other country. If you don't know, don't say it. No, you can literally be executed in Thailand for having to go at the king.
Yeah, people don't realise that. Yeah, Nicole, it is still there.
What's that?
The tree that Buddha sat under for years, meditating.
The young Buddha, or is that what she's talking about?
Yeah, you know the story.
Yeah, I know the story, but I mean, she's talking about the young Buddha and the
Yeah,
story. Yeah.
the tree. She wants to go see the tree.
Well, what I'm going to do, and you're not allowed to tell anybody, JP won't tell anyone, and I know Nicole won't say anything, but I'm going to go down to one of the local rivers in England, and I'm going to take it to a stonemason.
Yeah, I love trees.
You know, I'll put like 573 on it or something. Rough it up with a bit of moss, and I'll put it in a paddock somewhere close to a town. And then I'm going to get the local newspaper and explain that this stone from the Boit tribe, 1,000 years ago or 1,500 years ago, if you touch it or kiss it, you get health, wealth, and happiness. Can you imagine how many people would go and touch it and kiss it? Seriously. You can just see it, Nicole, can't you? Crowds are being held back here on the street because the farmers are in outrage. The Boit stone is continually fondled and kissed to give you wealth and happiness. People would believe anything. That's what I'm saying. You know, you can say it was placed there by a druid. You know, the same guy that rearranged Stonehenge, JP. But it's like I say, belief is something I don't mess with. Comedy I will play with, but people's beliefs, if they're wholeheartedly into their belief, I will acknowledge it, but I certainly will use the words, I'm happy that you have a belief, but please don't force it upon me. What have I been on? I've been on for over an hour, and I haven't even got to the stage where I've started begging. Oh dear. People that do that and live in abject poverty, it's very sad. No. And like I say, you know, I'm sure you do it. If you learn some of the local languages, even if it's basic, and you're polite, they're more than likely to be more open with you and even offer you things that you didn't expect. That is the truth. They do appreciate, in every country I've ever been, even my bungled attempt to be pleasant and polite in their language, they reciprocate tenfold.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that, Nicole. Buddhism is good. I was a bit disappointed. I didn't get to really see many, what's the names in Thailand though?
What's that?
Monks.
No,
No,
but
not
that's
one.
why we'll do it. We'll actually do a cultural tour. Probably go through the north a bit, JP. You haven't been up that way yourself yet, have you? You've been to Chiang Mai and that area and all, because there's loads of border areas where religion sort of crosses over from Khmer
I'll put my
into
phone on the
Thailand,
charger.
into different areas. So. No, I'll be honest with you, Nicole. They got one in Bali, very similar. Johnny knows what I'm talking about. It's a lot of touristy things. Yes, I know you can buy a brick and all those sort of things, but I'd rather go see temples, and I'd rather go and, because there was a really strange one in Vietnam we went to. What was that orange and green building?
The one.
It was a mixture of Catholicism and Buddhism and a whole mixture of things in Vietnam, and women had to stay over one side and men over the other.
That was the one-eyed temple.
Yeah, it was called, that's right, the One-Eyed Temple. That's what it was called. It was actually started by an American in the early 20s, I believe.
It almost had the symbols of the Masons actually, but
Yeah, had a bit of Egyptian in it.
but they wouldn't take donations.
No, we sat
gave
there
some
and
anyway.
I just opened my hand with some money, and they said, no, we don't take money.
But we did end up giving some. Who's
Carl Langford died.
Who's Carl Langford?
Um,
Who's Carl Langford, Johnny?
well, Carl Langford played for the West Coast Eagles. What the hell did he die of? Did he commit
Oh,
suicide?
that's why I don't know. Right, girls, they're talking football now.
You serious, JP?
JP, you serious? Oh, now I know the name.
Lagerfeld. Okay, no, Carl Langford.
No, Lagerfield. You said Langford, not me.
I read my eyes aren't that good. Designer.
A designer.
No.
A designer of what?
Obviously, clothing line for JP, I imagine.
What's he a designer of, Kathy? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Chanel.
Okay.
Or as we say in Australia, Channel.
No, I say Chanel.
Yes, we lose people all the time. Life is very short. I'm with you though, JP. Whenever I've been in different cultures, you feel it. You actually get it from the people. That's where you feel it from. Yeah, right, JP.
World
Yeah.
famous design. I don't wear designer clothes. I might buy the odd thing from Target, but I go to Good Sammy's or the second-hand shop.
Let's be honest.
like clothes from there.
JP's designer would be a T-shirt from Kendone. No, it's good. Like I say, cultures, when you get there, you actually feel it from the people, the local, and if they've got a genuine belief in certain areas. Like, this happened to me, okay? I'm not overly large, but I have a little belly on me. And when I went to Vietnam, we went to quite a few temples. The women came up, lifted my T-shirt up and rubbed my belly. I kid you not, because it's a sign of good luck. I thought I was on there for a moment, but no, it's just a religious thing. They rubbed my belly, didn't they?
Huh?
In Vietnam, in the temples, they rubbed my belly.
Yeah, they kept rubbing Seed's belly and saying Buddha and wanting photos with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, Nicole.
I don't know if this is working. I'm just going to have to check this out.
Okay.
iPhone 7s are a pain in the ass with how you've got to put the cable in. Nothing's working, I don't think. Mainly because it says 100, but how come it's not working?
Yeah, he's trying to plug the. Are you still? Is he still there? It is working. Have you paused it?
No. Oh, well, if it dies in the ass, it's because it stopped working. There we are.
He's trying to plug the battery pack in because his phone nearly died.
And normally when you plug in, it goes ming. You know that noise it makes? Ming.
Well, if your sound's off.
Well, I can't hear anything anyway. It's only a camera.
No, but you should hear it when you plug it in.
No, I didn't do it. Yeah, so I'll get the missus to give you an email, Nicole, give you some details. And you can do a hangout if you like. I wouldn't put anyone under that duress, but if you want to, you can. And if not, we'll just take a few pictures.
Can't hear you.
Can't you hear us?
No, I said that. I typed that in. Can you hear us or can they hear you?
Can you hear me? If you can't, you're not going to answer, are you?
Oh, I can't hear it.
Yeah, no, we're the same, Nicole. No, I'm sure you can't hear me, Johnny. I might go and get me bikini on and a few more beers.
Bikini. Still got some here.
Oh.
I can't see you. You're nothing but a big mess. It's dark.
Oh well.
I'll get him a budgie smuggler.
I'm certainly older now, Nicole, but I did play a lot of sport. The missus is going on a soup diet before we go overseas. You know, to impress people we don't really know.
Hey, Blinky Designs. Oh,
Hello,
hey,
Blinky.
You got a new name, Blinky?
Yeah. you do know that when you're overseas, that some of these poorer countries, they have immaculately kept houses. Can't say much for some Australians, but I've always found that. They're always sweeping, aren't they, Blinky, and cleaning. When, like, you can see where the fig is here. This fig here, see that
No,
fig?
can't see a thing.
No, they can see something moving around. Just behind
Oh,
that.
I've only just seen you now.
Oh.
That was almost a minute lag.
Okay. Am I dancing around there, am I?
Yeah, now you've just sat down.
Oh, okay. It's a bit of lag.
Oh, that's good, Blinky.
I hardly ever wear shoes, Nicole, my whole life. I think JP caught me in a pair of thongs, but
Yes.
that's
like
about it.
Seeds
No
watering,
shoes is good shoes.
watering the plants today and then walked in the house.
Yeah,
Got
got
dirt
trouble.
all through my freshly mopped floor.
No worries, mate. Good to catch you.
See you, JP.
We'll get you over here sometime in the future. No, just a pair of thongs, JP. Stop being pedantic with the American version of thongs. Yeah, put a couple of them videos up, mate, when you think about it. Even if you just make them unlisted, give me a link. I'd like to have a look at them. Nothing like walking up the beaches in Australia barefooted, having a dive into the ocean, which you're probably not doing in the northern parts of the hemisphere at the moment, I gather. I remember as a kid, round about this time of the year, we used to get a fair bit of snow in the 60s. You get very little there now, but this time of the year in the UK, you get the wind coming and you get ice. Is that still the case, Nicole? You'll get those real windy couple of weeks. Yeah, I remember quite vividly. It used to be around about beginning of March, nearly all the way through March, you get wind and you get bloody ice. That's when most kids used to get frostbite, after the snow, because it was sleet. And trust me, it's like being hit with wire when you're a kid. What a lot of people don't know is that we have actually got a lot of snow in Australia. 2 weeks ago we had major flooding, 50,000 houses underwater. We had major bushfires and we had large snowfalls, all in the one country. All in the same day. No, I think just a couple have lost, but we've had some horrendous years of bushfires where we've lost hundreds of people at a time. The International Space Station every now and then shows Australia at this time of the year, and it's always burning, no matter where you look in the country. From Victoria, Queensland, Territory, South Australia, WA, it's just one big bushfire. It's normal, and we actually need it to happen because there's a regenerative process that fire does. But the best part about my country is, where Blinky lives is a bit more, there's about 2 months of the year that it's cool. Not freezing, but cool. Blinky does get cold for about 3 or 3.5 months where she lives. But where I live, it's generally only hot for about 3 months, and it's bloody beautiful for the remaining 9. They do, they just won't germinate, your Banksias in particular. Few eucalypts,
Yeah,
they just
right.
don't regenerate.
Yeah,
otherwise.
that's right, Blinky. I've been to Mount Buller in the snow, Blinky.
We once walked up Mount Kosciuszko. It was summer. It was just after Christmas, and the glacier is always frozen up on Mount Kosciuszko. You've got to walk a couple of miles to get there. We got halfway there. Calm, sunny day, beautiful. I had a pair of shorts and a t-shirt on, and then we had a windstorm hit us at about 80 miles an hour. We were instantly snap frozen. We ran back to the car, Never got to the glacier. But it was cold. Middle of summer.
Yeah, it's all a national park, and that's back when we had a little chihuahua. Big sign as we're driving in, no dogs or blah blah whatever else is allowed. So Pippi, that was her name, hid very quietly under the seat, and we snuck her in.
Yep.
And
None the wiser.
And I've just dobbed myself in by saying that on the internet.
Yeah, Blanky works for the Kosciuszko National Trust. You're buggered now.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I remember distinctive seasons in the UK. Like we used to go up to Yorkshire a lot, and in summer, September, it was bloody hot. I'm talking about hot. 95, close to 100. Walking through the Black Forest is where my grandfather used to live out that way. And then you'd have snow, and then you'd have the cold wind and rain. But I've got friends in the UK that basically say it's just a melting pot now. Don't get a lot of snow. That's the general consensus. You get these dullard days where it's just cloudy and spitting, and it always rains. It rains every month in the UK. People may not know that, but it's true. It don't rain here sometimes for 6 months. Yeah, because I was saying earlier, Blanky, that like you, being a bit older, I look at the sky and I can see the season change in the sky. Might be the light with the movement of the sun and all that, but I feel it. And then the mornings are cooler. We've only got a few more days that are going to be peaking at 100. After that, it's gone. So we're ending summer quicker here in WA. Still been hot, don't get me wrong, but it's just about finished. But if any of you guys get the opportunity to come to this country, you probably won't leave. Yeah. I'm seeing a change in the season here, and I'm sure you may be seeing a change in the season
Nicole,
there.
what's it like in April there?
Oh, it's not too bad.
Well, it could have changed from when you lived there. That
Oh no,
was
it'll still be
50
cool.
years ago.
I've been in Manchester when it's been April. Cool, bit of wind, wet. Yeah, there we go.
Wet, okay. Oh, Blinky, don't say that.
What did Blinky say?
They reckon summer hasn't hit yet.
What, where you are?
Oh, Australia.
Yeah, it's dry. I mean, I've driven across the Nullarbor quite a lot. Many times, Blinky, and I haven't seen it as dry as it was, even though you saw in some of the video a bit of spittle coming down from the sky. It is dry as a bone.
We've had hardly any rain here. I miss a good thunderstorm. It's empty. Yeah, finished that.
Yeah, like I say, if you get a chance to come to Australia, you'll love it. And if you know enough people on YouTube and you get on well with them, we're very hospitable, trust us, we are. You could probably be accommodation free travelling. Airfares aren't too bad. Yeah, the mornings are cooler here, Blanky, which is good. I like a cool morning. I normally get up at 5:30, 6, as you know. And yeah, I have to chuck the dressing gown on in the mornings now. It's a freezing 20 degrees. I think we might knock it on head then, eh?
Yeah, I gotta go. My phone is charging.
Yeah, I like watching the sun come up, Nicole. You don't get to see a lot of them in your lifetime, so you might as well grab as many as you can.
Fine, you and Seeds could get up and sit out in the rain and have your cuppers. I ain't getting out of bed at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, my wife will be up at the crack of 10 o'clock.
Oh, I'm up earlier than that.
Yeah, but then you go into the bathroom. And then it's a process.
Shut up.
Well, hair wash days. 3 hours? 4 hours? 9 degrees, that's cold.
9:55. No, I get up. I don't know, 7. When
I've
I
always
have
been
the
an early bird.
grandkids, then I'm up early.
I've always been an early bird. It's just in my nature. But because I get up early, and I used to do it when I was younger as well, now, in the afternoons, don't tell anybody, but I'll have a nana nap. Half an hour.
An hour,
Hour, if I'm lucky.
2 hours.
No, it doesn't happen. Yeah, I know you don't like the heat. No, they're good. Like I say, I enjoy them. I'll crash around about 4 o'clock to about 4:30. Get up, make dinner if we're hungry. Like I say, we go to eat when we're hungry. This is the normal conversation here. I'll walk around thinking, a bit peckish. I'll say to the wife, "You feeling hungry?" She go, "No," and I go, "Okay." So we just wait until she feels hungry. Then I cook. Alright, good people, most of Blinky's going to bed. The girl's just starting the day. Anyone else that's there, thanks for coming. We're going to turtle off. And what did Nicole say? Can't nap anymore. Did the other way, didn't work till... Yeah, that's alright. That's an extended nap. Nothing wrong with that, Nicole. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good day, night, wherever you are. And be kind to each other. But if you see someone being a prick, stand on their head.
Yes, good to see you, Blinky. I like your new name, Blinky.
Blinky
Look forward
Designs.
to what direction you're going with that name on your channel.
Blinky's getting very Ken Donish on us. Well, she's very artistic. Alright everybody, I want you to have a very good day or night wherever you are. And like I say, you can be kind to people, do so. But the bullheads